Hello and welcome to Steam Next Fest, October 2025. I'm just here to talk about the demos I played. You know the drill. I've made 2 of these videos already. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go. I'd like to start off with Duskfade, the first Kingdom Hearts-like I think I've ever seen since, I guess, Final Fantasy 15. It's said to be inspired by 3D action platformers such as Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and Kingdom Hearts, and you don't really have to say much more because those are my favorite things in the world. You play as Zirian, trying to find his sister in this giant clockwork tower. It has fluid hack and slash combat and floaty platforming just like Kingdom Hearts, but instead of a keyblade, Zirian wields a sword that can turn into a gear-ish hammer. It's kind of a steampunky world. In the demo, you play through a condensed version of the first level. You acquire a little clockwork bird named Cuckoo that your sister made. You start off in a dreamlike level. You proceed to run around the outskirts of Tick Town, and you get a little bit of lore. Like, there's not very many humans left, and most of the people in the town are these cloud creatures. They're not to be confused with these inky creatures that you are fighting. While I enjoy a floaty platformer as much as the next guy, I did have a lot of issues falling off of the map, and it would teleport you to the last spot that you had solid ground. The problem is I'd fall off the map and land on like a little crevice, little corner of solid ground, a little nook and cranny, and so it would just, if I jumped off, I would just land in that little corner and I would be stuck. So I'd have to repeat from my last checkpoint. Luckily, they do have checkpoints. I also like the implementation of guide stones. They're these little rocks that you hit and it tells you where you need to go to progress the story, which is nice if you want to like run around and find secrets. I don't know how many times you've played a game where there's 2 paths and one of them, it's unsure which one progresses the story and the other one has like a secret chest or something in it, so you just go down what you assume is the wrong way, and sometimes it just progresses the story and you can't go back anymore. Well, that fixes that problem, and I appreciate that. As a huge Kingdom Hearts fan who needs something to tie herself over until Kingdom Hearts 4, I'm really looking forward to this game's release next year. Windstorm, The Legend of Khiimori. Windstorm is a German movie franchise turned video game series, usually about a red-headed horse whisperer named Mika, but the latest in the Windstorm game series, The Legend of Khiimori, is unique because it isn't based on any existing films, or it's not even about Mika. It's an original story about a Mongolian girl named Nara. I backed its Kickstarter and I got an email saying that they have a demo out for this month's Next Fest, so of course I had to check it out. The game has a way to go, but it is playable. It took what felt like 4 hours to load. You could choose between equestrian and adventurer riding style, and from what I could tell, that just changed the attitude of your horse. It basically changes like how much of a prima donna your horse is, which makes a lot of sense because this is a horse girl game. As a horse girl myself, horses can be temperamental when you make them do stuff, so it makes a lot of sense, especially stuff like difficult terrain. They get stressed out. Having to deal with bears, obviously, that's going to spook your horse. But the gameplay consists of riding and delivering things to nearby villagers and villages because you're a courier. Other than bears and difficult terrain, your horse can also be stressed out by the balance of your cargo and your saddlebags, so you have to move them between them. Nara can also wield a bow and arrow to kill enemies, but it's mainly about taking care of your horse and delivering goods, from what I can tell. Overall, looks promising, and I am excited to see the final product when it launches. A Better World is a management sim where you are a new time stream manager at the company A Better World, ABW, changing the course of history with your mascot sidekick, Globos. The demo asks you to make this ordinary man, Henry of New York, extraordinary by changing not only events in his life, but events that affected the whole world, like changing the assassination of JFK just so Henry can have a better time watching TV. Globos is your tutorial robot and will be doing most of the chatting. And man, is she a chatterbox. She's a little bit rough. She's got no expression in her voice. She doesn't have any fun sound effects. She's kind of a bland mascot, which is a real bummer because if you know me, you know I'm a big mascot fan, and I did not find her very charming. We're starting out very negative, but when you play the game, it's kind of like a VR title in a way, where you kind of just sit in a chair and fiddle with your computer device. It has buttons that change either world events or individual events. You get 2 choices. Whatever choice you pick, you can look out the window to see what has changed. You can also go forward and backwards in time by pulling a lever. Sometimes I wasn't able to look out the window and Globos just kind of told me what was going on. I do like the idea of a secret company changing world events through history. I wish Globos was a better mascot, more interesting, better voice maybe, more inflection in how they talked, a little more quirky. I'm interested to see where this goes in the future, but I think they'd have to change Globos for me to come back to play this game again. Thank you for your time. Elfie, a Sand Plan, is a cute little game that I think I saw on itch.io at some point. Elfie is a small, round elephant who needs help building sand castles. According to the Steam page, this was going to be part of the Elfie minigame collection, and they decided to make it a standalone version. This is the first game in the Elfie series, and it's the worldwide debut of this little rotund gal. Elfie's a real cutie. From the way that she sounds, the way that she dresses, you can unlock different little swimsuits for her as you progress through the levels. It seems like a simple concept, just place the correct style blocks in the spot on the grid, but once perspective comes into play, it gets a lot more difficult. You have to approach the sandcastles from multiple angles in order to progress the level. It's a cute title, reminds me of the Flash games of old. It's unknown when this game is set to release, but the Steam demo page states that it's sometime in 2025. Okay, Tides of Tomorrow is an interesting multiplayer experience where you follow in the footsteps of a previous player as they navigate the ocean planet full of plastic. The ocean planet? A ocean planet full of plastic. The plastic has caused a disease to spread, and the only way to temper it is this gas called ozone. You start the game where you pick a player to follow. I chose somebody named SpongeBob who made pro-humanity choices. If your friends have this game, then their names will show up first and you can follow them. You can see the previous actions of the last player reflected in how the world treats you. If the player was kind to people, then people will be more likely to help you because you are these tide walkers who are people that have come up from the water. So they, you're like a different species and they're like, oh, you're a tide walker. The previous tide walker really messed things up around here kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It may be more difficult if your tide walker was a jerk, but I think that comes down to, who you pick, because when you pick a person, it'll say if they were a troublemaker or not. So I guess if you want hard mode, you would pick somebody who would be a troublemaker. You can see major and minor choices by clicking Q. You can't fully ignore your previous player that you're following. Certain events you're just gonna see anyway, like main story events and what they did, where they hide during stealth sections because you cannot hide in the same place because the person will search there again because they knew somebody was hiding there or something. It's mostly walking around or boating around and talking to people, and at one point I had to do a stealth section, as I previously talked about. I had this boss conversation where in order to get out of it you had to choose the correct option to simmer him down. It felt like a boss fight but with words, and I think I might have failed it. I'm unsure if there is failure states in this game or if it just leads to a different outcome. It's an interesting concept that I'm sure will lead to a lot of replayability to see different outcomes. If you're playing my seed, I'm very sorry. I don't think I played very well. Anyway, this game is set to release soon, actually, February 24th, 2026. And those are all of the demos I played for this year's October Steam Next Fest, the last Steam Next Fest of 2025. There is a written version of everything I just talked about on my website, savvygaming.net. I have a Substack newsletter now that I will post below that just updates you on everything that's going on savvygaming.net. You probably already know this, but I have a podcast called the Video Game Book Club where we talk about books related to video games. My streams and Let's Plays are on a channel called Savvy with 5 V's. Just remember that V is the Roman numeral for 5, so 5 V's. I'll see you next time. Bye.